Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video, another educational slash beginners video. And today we're going to be covering the special little gimmicks that you can do with orb placement and things about orbs. The souls of skills, protection, and mystery. And soul of combos is what they call ults. There are a number of things that, even to this day, some of even the sweaty tryhards do not realize how you can manipulate things to your advantage or, make them work the way you want them to. So I'm going to just put out this little PSA video and educate everybody all at once. So we're going to go into a stacking stage with this Visions of Coleus team. Why this team? Well, because it has a little bit of everything, and it can do what I want it to do. And we're in a stage that has a decent amount of HP where they can live longer than 5 turns. So let's just go ahead and jump in, and we'll cut to the first point that I want to make. Okay, first point, immediately, I do want everyone to know that the colors do actually mean something. Green orbs give you more skill points than any other orb. It gives you less protection gauge and less ult gauge than any other orb. Oranges give you less skill points, less protection gauge, but more ult gauge. So you can see the difference between the one green, that little tidbit, versus the one orange gives you like double that. And then the blue orbs give you not a lot of protection gauge, not a lot of skill points, but it gets you more actual protection gauge. So the color of the orb corresponds to what you're trying to do. Blue orbs for protector, green orbs for skill points, orange orbs for ults. That's the first thing. The second thing is you gotta have a few orb changers on your team, because no matter what kind of team you're running, whether it be a blue-focused team like this, a green-focused team like the Exalted Champions team, or an orange-focused team like the New Year's Blessing team, they're meant to be run with specific colors, and running them away from each other is just a detriment to your team, because Lumi, increases blue orb skill points by 100% up to 500%. So, this hand right here does not get me a whole lot of stuff, right? It gives me 53 skill points. But if I were to do it next turn, after using one stack of Lumi, I'm going to get an extra 100 skill points off of all those. And then 200, and then 500, and, when we get to the end cap. So oranges, if a team wants oranges, they probably buff them in some certain way, and the same thing with greens. So play to the strengths of the team based on the protector you are using. Alright, in this second clip, I want to explain two different things. The first off is what happens when a character with an ult comes in for a character that does not have an ult. So you can see that Cleash has two orbs here, one blue and one green. And I want to bring in Blanc. Okay, well, if I decide to bring Blanc in for Cleash, which orb is going to be taking? Some players think it's random. It is not random. It is always the rightmost orb of that particular character who's getting swapped. So if I swap out Blanc for Cleash, I'm going to take this green orb. If I swap Blanc for, Jean, I'm going to take this blue orb because it is the furthest to the right orb of that one character. Rimuru only has one orb, so that's the only one that's going to be taken, because it's the only one available. So if we simply do this for Cleash, boom, automatic. There is no RNG-ness to whatever orb is being taken. It is always going to be the rightmost orb. The third point I want to make is alt swapping, right? Why is alt swapping a good thing? A lot of newer players in my Discord and in my video comments are like, what's the whole point? I thought you want to do damage with your alts. Why would you willingly not have it be an alt? And that's simply because of how the game is played and how the teams are meant to be run. This team is a blue stacking team, meaning you want blue orbs to stack lots and lots of uses of Lumi, because every time you do, you get 12% attack. So 12, 24, 36, 48, it goes up and up and up and up until you hit like turn 8 or turn 9 and you're at like 150% attack. That's when you want to nuke. And what gets in the way of that is ults, because ults do not give you the same amount of protection gauge as blue orbs, or even the amount of skill points as certain orbs. So ult swapping is very important. So like right here, let's take Rimuru out. And, you know, I have 3 ults, 2 blues and a green. I could use this to change that green. Okay, great. But, you know, 3 blue orbs is not going to get me a lot of protection gauge to get me more stacks of Lumi. And I also don't want to send all these ults because I'm not ready to nuke yet. They're not at full power. They don't have their double bar of supers to do maximum power. So what can you do about that? Well, you can use Blanc to alt swap them away and make them blues. Therefore, you don't use your ultimate meter early. You keep it and you build upon it while still maximizing the gauge increase that you're going to get from your full stack of blues, because now we have 2 more stacks of Lumi to use. Another 24% attack on turn 7. That's why alt swapping is important. And even for teams that don't stack like this, you know, for burst teams, sometimes you're just not ready to nuke in 3 turns, right? You need another turn to get some buffed orbs to get your units to that EX alt level. And the best way to do that is to just make it so it matches everything else. So you can send 6 oranges or 6 greens and 6 blues and make it nice and even. And here, again, like, boom, let's do 2 stacks of Lumi. Okay, well, look at this hand. I can convert it with Violet again. And also, I can use Blanc again, right? So, alt swapping is a very pivotal and important feature of this game nowadays. It's only been a thing for, you know, just over a year. And now pretty much every team needs at least 1 character that does it. Otherwise, it just runs like shit. Okay, same turn, but my final piece of advice, education for you with orbs, is that if you substitute a character who has an alt for a character who does not have an alt, this orb, this incoming future green orb, will be pulled, you know, regardless of who it is. So if I were to take out Jean for Cleache right now, I would receive in this alt spot a green Blanc orb. Like so. Okay, cool. If I were to take out Violet right now, for Rimuru, I would pull in an orange orb. It would now be an orange Rimuru orb because I'm swapping the characters, but it would still be this orange orb. It's not random, it's always what comes next. And if I had a 6th character to swap, I could swap Blanc away, and I'd pull in that other Rimuru orb right there. So, there are ways to manipulate it. You can tell in advance what's coming, which is why in some of my runs, or if you're ever watching me during like a stream and I'm doing Jubilee, and I just look at it and I just quit for whatever reason, and I don't explain why, it's because that I know the run is dead, because this incoming orb is not what I wanted. Because I'm playing into the future as well. I'm doing big brain shit, okay? So here, alright, well, perfect example of what we had previously talked about is, hey, I have an alt, I have these weird orbs, I want more stacks of Lumi, so you know what? Let's alt swap this Blanc orb into a blue. Okay, let's use Rimuru's self-convert, and let's use Cleache's convert into a full-handed blues, therefore maximizing the amount of protection gauge I get, plus all the points, plus almost an EX alt for Blanc. But there is another factor, one final factor about orbs, and that is the rainbow ability, the unity, soul of unity. Only very particular characters have this skill. Not everyone does. It's very rare. But it changes either a specific type of orb or a specific color into a rainbow orb, this triple color. And that essentially means is that whatever orb this happened to be, it's now acting as though it's an orange, a green, and a blue orb all at the same time. So if we do this, all these blue orbs get changed to rainbows. So what this means, in effect, is I'm technically sending 6 blue orbs, 6 green orbs, and 6 orange orbs all in one hand. Now, it's very powerful because I'm getting maximum skill points, maximum protection gauge, and maximum alt gauge all at the same time. So these skills are very limited to like 1 time per battle, but they are very powerful because now it allows me to get Blanc's EX ult, while still getting max protection gauge, while still getting maximum skill points. Very, very powerful skills given to very, very specific units. And now, at turn 8, I'm ready to nuke. And we have learned a couple things. We've learned about ult swapping, we've learned about future orbs coming in, we've learned about ults taking the spot of specific characters' orbs on the right side, and hopefully this video has made you a much more educated person, if you want to be an educated person while playing this game. There are a lot of people that auto this game, and you know what? That's totally fine. You can play your game how you want. But if you want to get down and dirty and sweaty and learn the mechanics and, you know, really play the game, then this video will definitely help you out. And now we have enough to do all of these skills because we've been stacking and we've been getting more points throughout. And now I can use, 300 something points in one turn. And now we are ready to nuke with our type advantage nuker Blanc. And we're going to do big mommy damage with her. Like so. Well, we don't have to watch that. 1.9 million. That's actually not very good for today's standards. But it's still a lot of damage. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. That's what I'm trying to show you guys. Use orbs to your advantage. Use this knowledge to play more efficiently. And if this video helped you out, please let me know in the comments. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.